Welcome back, everyone, to part 3 of the Mini Nations series brought to you by this lovely VIP13 account. Thank you so much, Mr. Jetlag from our Discord. He is, in fact, on the same server as I am for my Yawning Way account, and he's the Overlord. So, yeah, it's going to be an interesting video touching on what it looks like to be a Meg in this game, and pretty much what others will, who do spend, of course, can potentially aspire to. But for everyone else, it's pretty much just a showcase of Wei Nation in action at its probably, I would say, finest. Maybe that's. I'm sure that there's some areas that can be improved upon, but let's be honest, most people probably will never aspire to climb the heights of this power level range. But if you do find yourself up there, obviously you'll know and relate a little bit more to this video. For us mere mortals, we're just going to check out and see pretty much what Wei Nation can do. Now, in terms of where this sits, so these are pretty much your stock standard heroes. If you decided to pick Wei Nation, which I have, of course, on the Yawning Way account, you're going to have a very, very similar lineup to these epics that are presented here. I would say the things that, the biggest pro, I'm trying to think, what's the biggest pro of Wei Nation? Probably its column damage. Heroes like old mates Mr. Big Sword, Liao Zhang, he basically does, I want to say, if I can show him off a little bit, he does column damage. So if anyone wants to ever demo that, there's always a demo button behind any of the heroes. He essentially does column damage, and he has a chance to stun heroes. And this is important because it's kind of one of those continuing themes within this Wei Nation itself is, of course, control. So control ability is probably one of their strongest points. This guy here, I mean, I did start building him before Yuan, but in terms of like what he does AoE damage from what I can remember, or back row damage, I should say. He has a chance to reduce the target's rage by 2, and of course their damage reduction, meaning they essentially get a debuff. He's fairly strong. Early to mid game, he's fairly strong while you're waiting to start to build some of your legendary heroes. The only healer in the nation is, of course, the lovely Lady Zhen, and she, she's okay. Like, I've played her as the sacrificial pawn before, testing out some of, the buff capabilities of her. Just because at 7 stars, she actually increases one random ally's attack by 25% for 2 rounds. Honestly, it's a real hit or miss, but if you do manage to land that 25% buff on one of your like stronger DPSs, you do notice that they do hit a little bit harder. Realistically, she's just there for support, although, let's be honest, most players don't run healers. Next, you've got the lovely beast himself, Liao Zhang. Ironically, I never got enough copies to build him when I was in the stage of early to mid game. But as a Wei hero in general, he's quite nice because he attacks the front row. He also has a chance to reduce target's rage, which is, it's decent. 40% chance at 7 star. And of course, he is very similar to the other guy with the bow. He does remove or reduce the target's damage reduction, so their mitigation strength, which I think is very similar to what this guy does as well. He also does that. So I assume combined, now I never got a chance to test this out, but I assume combined they can reduce the target's damage reduction by around 50% if they manage to land on the same target with their active abilities, which is not too bad. Not too bad at all. Then you've got old mate Papa Chu. I believe he's a single target if I remember correctly. Kind of like Ma Chao, a little bit like Sun Quan. Essentially, he hits one dude, and he has more crit and more accuracy and ignores 55% of the target's defense. Solid finisher. Realistically, this guy is designed to be a finisher. You'd almost just want him to be either in slot 6 or slot 5, depending if you're running a healer. just so he can go in there and cap whoever's in slot one, and then so on and so forth until they're all dead, basically. But he does have quite a nice little bit of statistics in terms of being able to have some accuracy and do some solid damage, solid damage. But this is your generic, very stock standard away team. They do like to capitalize on the controls, and will have a little look about what that actually means in a second. Now, another thing for this nation is they do specialize a little bit in rage reduction. This will be the first accessible, I want to say, accessible quote unquote free to play hero for the Wei Nation, being Dan Wei himself, or Dian Wei, depending on how you like to pronounce him. I like to butcher all names as much as I can possibly do, so we're going to call him Dian Wei anyway. He is a pretty cool hero. I mean, this is him and his 7-star form, and obviously his accuracy is still kind of low, but he does have a pretty decent amount of crit, considering he's not running a crit artifact as well. So he's got high crit. He's got what's that, 113% crit. Yeah, that's pretty good. Not gonna lie. Crit strength not so much though. That would probably be quite nice in Tower if we could buff him up. I was gonna say buff him up. But anyway, in terms of what he does, he really just attacks in a column feature as well. Does like this little rhino looking attack. However, he does have a 45% chance to stun the target for one round. This has more accuracy and ignores target's defense. Again, it's kind of like a theme for the Wei Nation to attack in columns, have a stun chance, and have high abilities to ignore a target's defense. And of course, if the target has more HP, then this guy does some additional damage as well, which is not too bad. Is there an example of his ability? I don't know. It's not going to let me demo. Yeah, there we go. Let's have a look to see what he does. And he just stuns them for pretty much just one round. Pretty stock standard. Would I slot him slot 1? No, he'd probably either be maybe slot 2, depending on what situation. Maybe even slot 4, depending on whether or not you run the special hero Tokugawa. Obviously, he has some high stun abilities there. Next on the list of heroes that you're probably going to find yourself acquiring is going to be, no doubt, the fan favorite, Mr. Fisherman Gao. He is an interesting hero, to say the least. He really doesn't shine too much, but I noticed that he's, what's the word? You need him for Demon Roar, so he's kind of like a necessary evil. He's probably one of the only heroes that I think he's one of the only heroes in this nation that hits all targets. If I remember correctly, he's the one. He's one of the only heroes that actually hits everyone with his skill. So he does damage to all, and he has a 30% chance to reduce their rage by 2. Very much like Zhu. Very much like the guy from Warlord. Basically, instead of doing the Warlord, which was to give everyone a buff for evasion for whatever fucking reason that is, this one actually gives a meaningful one, which is a crit buff and a damage bonus to essentially, I mean, it reduces them, right? So it's kind of a debuff. Reduces the target's crit and damage by 30% for 2 rounds. I mean, but the fact that he hits all of the targets, it's not terrible. It is still statistically fairly low, though, only being a 30% chance to reduce their rage. It is what it is, right? I feel like a lot of people still run him because of the damage debuff. It's kind of like Demon's Roar. I'm not gonna lie, Demon's Roar does very, very similar things in terms of damage debuff as well. But yes, of course, Gao is probably going to be on the list of heroes to get. Next, I would say old mate Zhang Yu is a little bit of a beast. I haven't had a lot of time to test him out. However, he does some very interesting things. This is the Generation 4 Wei hero. I mean, he bleeds targets. I guess that's pretty much it in a nutshell of what he does. However, he also has a chance to have a lot more crit in his attack, so you could build him crit heavy or crit damage heavy if they ever introduce an artifact that gives crit damage. This guy could probably shine a little bit more because he has a high natural crit chance when he's in battle. Um, but of course, he also does a damage reduction. So definitely lining up with Gao there with the damage reduction, can definitely see them synergizing together, of course, if it does proc for 2 rounds. He then does this ability that essentially does 15% of the target's max HP as damage, up to 600% of caster's attack, which is, of course, Xiao Uh, Anyway, for 2 rounds, it deals additional magic damage to targets with less than 4 rage. So he kind of punishes pretty much everyone in a linear type of fashion. But if we can get an example, that would be fantastic, PB. Let's see what the active does. It kind of looks like a pyramid, lots of shining lights. But after it, you can see the bleed damage is indicative on the screen. And, he does pretty good damage late rounds because it ramps up, of course. I mean, the running an Emerald Lyre, that's a little bit iffy. I don't know why you're running a healing artifact on a dude that really does have high potential to do damage. Interesting. Interesting choice. I'm not going to mess around with this guy's account too much. I'll try to keep it as plain as possible. Now, of course, there is another legendary that has not been utilized because he wanted to do something else. He wanted to go with Takukawa. Then there is Simi Yi, the witch doctor, crow man, whatever you want to call him, dragon dude. He's interesting. He does do a healing ability. Now, it's interesting not because he heals, it's just it doesn't really do a lot. It's almost a little bit negligible. I ran with Simi. He was my first legendary. I don't regret building him, but he's purely for support. You really only want to get this guy for one of the legendary charms. Him and Jun basically go together for a legendary charm combination. But outside of that, he really doesn't do too much in terms of fantastic. He attacks 4 random enemies, has a chance to reduce their rage, reduces their damage reduction, of course, for 2 rounds. That's pretty much what he does. However, he also has an ability to heal everyone's HP. Now, it's not a really big heal, so it's kind of like negligible at best. You probably wouldn't want to rely on this guy to heal your team up to survive. It's just not really going to happen. He's really just there for a support mechanism in doing some rage reduction and damage reduction. Because he does hit 4 random enemies, and of course, he does have a little bit of yeah. I don't even really want to say he has utility as a healer because realistically, he doesn't. I don't want to lie to everyone. He's not really meant to be a healer. But if you did run him, I could definitely see why you would run Emerald Lyra on him, just so I guess that could buff his uses. If you didn't have Tokugawa as a replacement, you could definitely run Old Mate instead. Tomoe, of course, being one of the legendaries to build, which kind of moves us on to the star of the Wei Nation lineup for now, which is Cao Cao, or as I prefer to call him, Chow Chow, my little puppy dog. This guy is a bigger puppy dog than the one that I have, and surprisingly, you do agree with me. You do run the Moon Fan on him. I actually think it is extremely would be a word. I don't think it's extremely useful. I just think it just adds. Because this guy is going to basically be a slot 1 to get your CCs off immediately. But the fact that he has a chance to silence with the Moon Fan as well as do additional damage with poison, yeah. Yeah. I don't know. I've not tested him out with anything else. To be honest, the first thing I thought of was, Moon Fan for Chow Chow. Like, there wasn't really any other contenders at the moment, but I imagine we could spice things up a bit. On my account, anyway. I think we might even try out the Blue Blade on him. Maybe the 7-star sword, but we'll have to see. In terms of what this guy does, he is a control freak, which kind of leads us into, the crux of the nation. So the nation has a lot of, I want to say, controllability. However, like most nations, it kind of lacks that, finish the job, get the job done. It's none of this get in, get off, get out kind of technique. It's more of a long, progressive fuck with everybody, slow roll, which you're going to get to see a little bit later on. And I mean, look, he's going to freeze targets. This is what this guy does. He does unremovable freeze. He attacks all enemies, which is quite interesting, meaning all enemies can be frozen for 2 rounds. 45% chance at the best. Basically, Chow Chow's normal attack breaks the ice pillar and deals additional 20% max HP damage to the target once it gets broken. Can't exceed his capped out 600% attack, of course. Guaranteed to freeze 2 random targets for 2 rounds, reducing all enemy damage bonus by 35% for 2 rounds as well. So it's a debuff. Now, I don't think I've ever frozen 6 in a row. I've never seen him freeze 6. I have seen him freeze a lot more than 2, though, so I know that that's not a hard cap. But we might be able to see that in action a little bit later on. Obviously, the reason why people like to run him is just because he makes life hard. That's really the whole idea of this nation, as I was saying before, is to make life hard. And of course, adding the silence of the Moonlight fan to it is going to help out. Now, if you don't have access to that, I recommend probably just running your stock standard crossbow on him. Potentially, I mean, look, crossbow would work. You could almost go with the black fan as well for the additional poison that he could spread. I could see that being versatile. You could, you probably could save the crossbow for like Dan Wei or some bursty heroes. I'd say like the soul sword, you probably want to stick on your strongest DPS. Whether or not that's going to be your main protagonist or if it's going to be someone like this guy, then anything with burst, absolutely Serpent Halberd is going to shine on Old Mate Gao because he hits everyone. Yeah, I can see that. Now, I can understand why Tokugawa's got the Dragon Lance as well. If you were around when the Time Heroes did drop, then Tokugawa is a one that is kind of exceptional in his own right. I noticed you didn't get him to 7-star, though. Interesting. I managed to get mine to 7-star. Jetlag, hey? No, that's the only thing that I probably have over you on this account. That's a joke. Your account's still crushing. But in terms of this guy, obviously at 7-star, that's kind of where he shines the most. But we could talk about him, what he does at 6-star. So he is like the accumulation of all of the Wei Nation into one character. This is outside of Dynasty Scrolls lore. Basically, they made this dude into a god. They made a lot of the time heroes into gods, let's be honest. That's realistically what they did. But let's just jump into the nitty-gritty. So he attacks in a column fashion. He deals magic damage. He inflicts bleed like the other dude in Wei Nation. He inflicts bleed. Then basically for 2 rounds he does that. Then he has a stun chance like Dan Wei. And then he basically continues to deal additional damage depending on the target's HP as extra damage, reducing their accuracy as well for 25% of all enemy heroes by 25%, I should say, being accuracy, being one of the most annoying features in the game is not being able to hit your target, and this guy debuffs them by 25%, and he ignores their defense. And if this hero dies in battle, there is a chance to freeze all enemy heroes by 2 fucking rounds. So I see a lot of Chow Chow, I see a lot of Dan Wei, I definitely see Yanzu. I mean, this guy, he kind of does it all. Honestly, I'm a bit more excited about testing this guy out, to be honest. I want to see what his ability does. If he attacks a column, yeah, I figured he would do a column. They couldn't make him that much powerful. But we'll see. We'll see whether or not he can burst down the enemy team. But that's pretty much it in a nutshell. Now, if you were going to ask me who should I build first, PB, I probably would say go for Dan Wei. Dan Wei is a pretty solid hero in terms of just raw DPS. Next, I would recommend going for this guy, Zhang Yu. And of course, after that, I would recommend Gao as well. Brother Gao is probably up there in terms of that. If you do have a choice and you are able to, I guess, pursue it in the arms race or the Celebrate Festival, Chow Chow is absolutely worthwhile getting to 4 star and then focusing on the rest of your team. It really just depends on what stage of the game you're at and pretty much how much money you want to spend. If you're a free to play player, you're definitely going to get Dan Wei first, just because you can get him from the wishing shop and, of course, in the side quests later on. But if you were to think about it, if I can get Dan Wei first and I can save my resources up, I reckon Chow Chow's definitely the hero that you want to build. If you can't build him for whatever reason, then go with Zhan Yu for the DPS, and then Gao as well for the rage debuffs and, of course, the attack debuffs. Now, let's just jump into it, and I wanted to do this because I wanted to tee this up for basically Demon Raid because I wanted to showcase just how strong this team can be. Honestly, there's not too much other content that we can run on this account because it's pretty much done. We may try and push a little bit in tower if we can get lucky with some rolls. But yeah, as you can see, I think we've maxed it out. So that's 16 attempts. The privilege of VIP. What is this guy? Demon Dao Chan, level 6. If you're ever curious about like who's doing what, you can just see it up there. Basically, if I remember correctly, Demon Dao Chan every round kills slot 1 heroes. So that means we do not want to run Chow Chow slot 1. We probably want to run it like this. We're going to get it like this. Like this. Oh, man. Do I sacrifice Lu Bu? No. I'm like, no, 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 no. Daddy PB will not be having any of that today. Let's jump into it like this. Let's see if we go. I mean, we can always spice it up a little bit, let's be honest. Good thing there is some other enemies that we can fight as well. We're not going to skip this one just yet. So we're going to check out some... Oh, I forgot to check out his beast. I assume most of them are pretty up there. I feel like we can stand to lose Dan Wei, and we could probably stand to lose Gao. And then we can suss out whether or not we don't want to lose Tokugawa. We might slot Zhu. We might slot old Mr. Bleedmate into slot 3, but we'll test this out. Honestly, though, we'll have to see just how much damage Lu Bu does because he doesn't have legendary skins on this count. At least I assume he doesn't. Oh, fuck yes. Go you, Lu Bu. You're a fiend. Show these Wei Nations how to crush things. So there you go. It's very, very annoying the fact that Dao Chan can kill, pretty much guaranteed killing. What the fuck is that? Why are you invisible? All right, so this person here, that you can all see that, right? She looks like she's invisible. Maybe that just means she's dead or something. Anyway, can we attack her? Yes. All right, that's very odd. Combo Vanquisher, nice. I want to see just how much bleed damage old mate Zhan Yu can do. I feel like he's a sleeper. I feel like Zhan Yu is probably going to be quite good. Overpowered, yes, you are. Chow Chow, I mean, he's not really CCing anyone. I mean, I'd almost just be tempted to sacrifice Chow Chow as well, just to see if we can maximize some raw DPS. Because again, Chow Chow's not really a DPS hero. He's a CC hero, which is kind of weird to say that, but he really isn't for DPS. And then to wrap it all up, we have Moonlight Dancer. Alrighty then. So statistically speaking, did Chow Chow do a lot of damage? Yeah, I don't know. Well, we've got 16 attempts. Let's spice this up a little bit. Obviously, obviously, Lu Bu ain't going anywhere. He's a fiend. Let's try it like this. Let's see how much more damage Tokugawa can do, staying alive a little bit longer. I want to see just how versatile this guy can be. Let's speed it up just a little bit. Yeah, I don't know. Like, I really do feel like, and I'll keep repeating myself here, but I really do feel like Zun Yu can do some serious bleed damage over time. Uh, it could just be a tactical thing too. Obviously, because we don't have as many enemies available to attack, it's a little bit more spread out, I guess. Hmm. Demon's Roar. And last but not least, of course, Moonlight Dance. And we finish this up. Oh no, I skipped ahead, didn't I? Alright, well we already know the outcome of that, so let's just skip that. Let's see what the damage was. So yeah, Zunyu's up there. I mean, is he gonna do more damage than Tokugawa? I don't know, man. I just this guy. I feel like he's a sleeper. Feel like he's a sleeper. Let's just throw you there. Let's throw Gao up the back. Let's throw Dan Wei down here. Let's see if we can spice things up. Um, oh, it's defeated. 5 seconds to go. What are we chasing? What are we chasing in terms of rank? So the highest one we got was 292. So just remember that 292. So we're going to try and beat 292 if we can. And we got a full team to fight against too, which is fantastic. Which may, well, maybe that means that Gao can have a chance to shine a little bit more with the AoE. Well, I might have fucked up with putting Chow Chow slot 1. Because now he can't really have a chance to kill. Well, we're going to slot him into slot 3 instead to give him a little bit more of an opportunity. I feel like Dan Wei is 100% the sacrificial pawn in this whole fucking endeavor. Mm, honestly, that Vanquisher charm looks pretty damn cool. I'm tempted to get that. Oh yeah, God, just whack him a little bit harder next time, dude. They're doing 15 damage. What? And technically, this guy isn't even optimized. because he's running the Emerald Lyra. Hmm. You know what I want to do? I don't want to skip. That's what I don't want to do. Fucking hell, man. I'm so used to speedrunning and shit. Oh, dude. Oh, look at the fucking damage on you. Zhang Yu, you are a sleeper. I am telling you. If you've all been sleeping on the amount of damage this guy can do, let this be a testimony. This guy is a beast. Um, what do I want to do here? I want to change. Nah, no, I don't want to run Twin Saber on you. I want to run a DPS on you. But what do I want to run? Honestly, I want to run this. I want to test the fan out. I'll if I forget to swap these guys back, I do apologize. Um, I don't think it's gonna be a huge like swap. But knowing me, I'll probably fucking forget. It's just where is it? Where is it? I want to go back to Demon, so it's in arcade. Beast Hunt, Demon Raid. All right. I wanted to spice things up a little bit. I want to chuck you up there, and yeah, it's fine. We can just go with that because there's really nothing. I mean, all your charms are going to get rotated out anyway, so it doesn't really make any difference. If anyone's curious about charms, hit us up in Discord to have a chat about that. But basically, Moonlight Dancer and Demon's Roar are the best ones to get at this stage of the game. Then after that, it just depends on which nations you are building. Um, I will say this: most nations lack strong DPS, and I feel like it's probably because they just don't have the game really doesn't have like that amazing DPS that does AoE damage and just fucking shits on everyone. Like the closest that I can think of would probably be Lu Bu in terms of column damage. Ma Chao, of course, to a degree, Sun Quan. Guan Yu is pretty strong actually. He's pretty damn decent in terms of like front row damage. Um, yeah, it's interesting. They kind of, uh, even maybe even Sun Shi to a degree is probably really strong, but they made any hero that could do like savage damage. Really, only hit like two people max, three people if you're really lucky. um, and then they kind of gave you this very average DPS to support that. Oh man. I want to see it. I want to see big numbers. I want to see big fucking numbers. Unchanged. Oh man, I'm just gonna do this entire video. I'm gonna do this entire video. How high do we? Oh, what? 325. Fuck, we smashed that. Did we not just smash that total honor score? I feel like we just smashed that total honor or highest honor score. I forget what it was. Somebody look back in the videos and tell me if we just did not just obliterate that. Alright, let's just skip ahead. This might be the magic maker. This might be what the dreams are made of. I want to see how much damage old mate did this time round. Oh, I'm telling you. I'm telling you, Zhan Yu, you are a sleeper. You are the Wei's fucking sleeper right there for boss damage, that is. Chow Chow is up there, of course. I don't know. I feel like I need to have a screenshot of that. There we go. Took a screenshot. Because that's fucking insane damage for like just a hero that probably doesn't even get any real clout. All right, so what I think we will do is I'm actually gonna leave this. I'm gonna let old mates Jetlag have a little bit of a play around, and we're going to finish all of his attempts. Is there any other way for me potentially to buff the damage that you do, though? Negatory. No, there isn't. Alright, I'm going to leave that. I'm going to let you have some fun doing that. And then we're going to try a little bit of the tower, see whether or not we can push any further. What did you get in terms of... Okay, script accuracy 150. For tower, what do we want to run though? Tower is going to be a different beast, absolutely. So let's try you there, you there. You there? Maybe? Maybe like this? I have no idea. Let's just test the waters, people. Let's see if we can I don't know. I've had bad runs with tower. I did what Taki suggested, and I did what V18 suggested. Oh yeah, get those stuns out there. And get me some freeze action going on. Fuck. Did not freeze the guy that we needed to freeze. Let's try like this. Yeah, let's try this. Because Denwei's got a pretty good chance of stunning, and of course, Lubu, as you saw, can stun. But we're only really gonna have one chance of this, and I know there's a technique to basically, if you just pause it like this, you exit the application, you don't lose. But I'm not going to do that in a video, of course. But yes, this is the hack. Basically, quit the game. If you're not going to lose, pause the thing, quit the game, jump back into the game, and you still are on the same tower level, and you don't lose any of your hearts to do it, and we all die. Shit. Alright. Glad I didn't depend the whole video on us attempting the tower. What do we got in terms of beast mode? Probably nothing really to fight there. Expedition, you're already done. Mount Dungeon, for sure, you're already done. Realm Beast, yep. You've definitely defeated all of those. Is there anyone on X server, though? Can we terrorize anyone with the Beast Realm? Nope, you've already done all your challenges. Fantastic. Let's check out some of your monsters, though. Potentially the best ones to run for Wei Nation is still going to be Karkadan. It's actually surprisingly Karkadan. Not going to lie, Karkadan, because of the stun chances of Karkadan, it synergizes exceedingly well with Chow Chow's ability, obviously, and every other hero that likes to stun. Because it attacks the front row enemies, it has a 30% chance to stun. At higher levels, basically, that percentage goes all the way up. He's actually really, really good. Of course, most people will run Inferno Kitty first, which is absolutely fine. 7-star Kitty, then you can work on Karkadan. Obviously, Heaven's Dragon is there for the buffs. Very, very versatile hero. Well, I should say monster. But once you've pretty much maxed these ones out, I'd say the next one that's coming out is going to be pretty scary as well. I wonder if it's in the index score yet. It might be. No, it's not. Oh, we'll have to wait and see. I know there was some things on Korean server about that. You've got a lot of gear going on. I like that. I like that. What are we looking at in terms of charms? Ooh. Apparently we can... Yeah, that's the one. That's the one I was looking for. This one here. This one will actually do some pretty decent... What do you do? If I remember correctly, this is an accuracy buff one. Mm-hmm. And of course you do poison damage. Yep. Hmm. Interesting. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe we should have run or tried that one out as well. But it's okay. That's okay. I think you just went for raw DPS. Honestly, that's probably this combo Sons of the World is a little bit better than Moonlight Dancer because it does a little bit it does additional damage, whereas this one silences. That one actually poisons. So yeah, you probably could have milked that out a little bit longer with the old combo Sons of the World, um, instead of doing Moonlight, obviously, just because of the additional levels of poison. Um, you're gonna have fun messing around with that one though. I'm super duper happy though that we managed. Look at this guy, man. So fucking don't sleep on this guy. He is a phenomenal DPS. Phenomenal DPS. All right. Anyway, I think that's pretty much it because there's not really too much else to talk about in terms of the Wei Nation itself. If you found this video somewhat informative, I know there's probably going to be a lot of triggered free to play players that will say, PB, it doesn't count because I can't achieve any of that. I understand. I absolutely do. Jump into our Discord. We can have a chat with you about what works best for your budget. Depending on what you want to achieve as well. This is probably something that you're going to be pretty much stock standard going to be expecting to see on Way accounts. And honestly, even as a Raw Nation, in terms of ranking, I'd say this is the second best nation to probably build as a free to play. Wu Nation and Wei Nation are the best in terms of just being able to clear the towers, being able to clear Beast Realm because of the CC. Of course, it is a little bit RNG dependent, like everything. Wu Nation is more about sustained burning, whereas this one is, as you could probably tell, more about sustained CC. And of course, additionally, you need some bursty damage and DPS as well, which is, it's going to take time. It's going to take time. Don't rush things like this. Don't stress too much. How are we going in billionaire event? Yeah, we're still fourth. Maybe we're gonna get some mices this time round. All right, I'll leave you all there. Thank you again, Jetlag. Much appreciated. Phenomenal account. Very much shaping up to be one of the best, if not the best, in the bracket. Um, you did tell us that we can't attack anyone in siege, so I have to respect your wishes. As tempting as that may be, as tempting as that may be. All right, thank you all again. Have a great one.